Welcome to the Positive Sports Podcast. I'll be your host this evening, Ed Montana. Alongside me today, my preppy brother, Alex. Alex, how you doing?
Should do it with the collar up.
Yeah, you look more proper. Do
kind of like Fonz.
Hey, do that. So unbutton that button and then the collar up. Yeah.
Let's see how it looks.
No, it'll look great.
With the hat.
Yeah, no, it'll look very...
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Hey.
You need to unbutton one more and show off some chest hair.
Some taco meat?
Yeah. No, go ahead.
I'm going to drive the ladies wild here, man.
Yeah, that will drive the women crazy.
Ladies, it's definitely No Shave November, as you can see.
Yeah. No, definitely keep it like, maybe that's too... Maybe you need one button. No, you need one button.
You think one button? All right, we'll do one button. Collar up. Fingers pointed out. Gun fingers.
No, you're going the wrong way with this. You're trying to be like...
What? Isn't that what the Fonz did?
Yeah, you're trying
Where's
to
my
be...
leather coat?
You're trying to be... You're going the wrong way with this.
Yeah,
You're trying to be Fonzie cool. I'm trying to get you to look preppy, like...
Oh, this is not preppy.
Yes, it is. A little button-up shirt like that back in the day.
This is preppy. Top button all the way. This is... Don't make me put on the polo sweater.
put on a sweater too.
And I'll start looking like Carlton over here.
Wait a minute. Better yet, do you have a sweater vest?
No. Never had one of those.
Oh.
I got a sweater. I like the V-neck sweaters. I like them. But the vest, I can't.
You got to do the sweater vest. I can rock a sweater vest.
Yeah, I can't do it. Well, yeah.
I wear a long sleeve shirt, button-up shirt, and a sweater vest. I love it.
Well, you need it. To make you look, better than, especially now with it looking all scruffy and shit.
What are you talking about, scruffy? This beard is...
It's tight and white.
Tighty whitey? So for all of the fans out there that are watching this, for all the fans that are listening, I have a beard.
Yes,
It is No Shave November for me. No Shave November. Some guys do mustaches, some guys do goatees, some guys do beards. I do a different thing every year. This year I went with the beard. But the moral of the story is changing the face of men's health. All of you guys out there, get your annual physicals. Don't be afraid to go to the doctor. You can't cure what you don't know you have. So go get your physicals. Don't change the face of men's health. And for all of you women that listen to this show, encourage the important men in your life to go out and have their annual physical and checkups and don't brush it to the side. Do it. Take care of yourselves so that you're around for your family and friends for a good long time. Anyway, that's my PSA.
Now that you say that, I'm starting to think if I'm important to my wife. I mean, she hasn't recommended me to go to the doctor at all, so no.
Wow.
My kids haven't either.
No one likes you.
No one likes me.
If it makes you feel any better, make sure you get your annual checkup. All right, bro?
I probably won't, but I'll take your advice. I'll listen to your advice. I hear your advice.
You should take my advice. Get yourself a physical every year.
Yes. So, it feels like we haven't had a podcast or recorded for like 3 weeks because I feel like a lot has happened in sports this week.
Yes.
I mean, we've
some
had...
of it very good.
Yeah.
Some of it, unfortunately, not so good.
Yeah.
What do you want to talk about first?
I mean, I think we should start with this cheating scandal is what I think.
You want to go baseball first?
Yeah, go baseball first. I mean, it doesn't really matter what we talk about first. We're going to talk about it.
We're going to talk about it. So what you're referring to is the Astros and the apparent sign stealing that was going on from a camera feed in center field that was wiring in information or a feed into the dugout.
Right.
And then players in the dugout were banging on a garbage can or whistling or creating some kind of noise to alert the batter on whether the pitch would be a fastball or a off-speed pitch.
Right.
What do you think about that?
I think the Astros, first of all, there's sign stealing in baseball going on in every game. A guy gets on second base. It happens. I'm sure the batters are not looking directly at the pitcher at all times like Juan Soto is, right? So there's sign stealing going on.
It's been a part of the game forever.
But I'm sorry, Astros. I mean, they took it a little too far. I mean, they defined the term going above and beyond. They went above and beyond to gain an advantage in the game. And I don't think that's right.
Here's the thing. I agree with you. If they are in fact guilty of this, they've gone too far. Because the guy at second base who's trying to give signals back to the batter, look, that's part of the game. He's at second base. What do you expect him to do? You know what I mean? And pitchers and catchers have a different protocol when there's a guy at second base as opposed to when he isn't.
Right.
And tipping pitches and whatnot, players have tried to figure stuff out forever and a day, right? But this is different because not both teams have the advantage of having someone at second base and using it, right? This is very clearly a camera, because it only happens at Minute Maid Park, right? Because they don't have the camera set up when they're on the road. But they've got a camera at Minute Maid Park, and they're feeding in the information into the dugout. So absolutely, it's above and beyond. The problem I have is there's nothing that specifically says you can't do this in the rules.
Right. There's no rules about this.
There's no rules about this. There's teams have been cautioned about using technology, but what does that mean, right? Can they not use a radar gun to figure out how fast the guy's throwing? I mean, isn't that kind of the same thing? They're trying to figure something out, right? In today's age, someone could have an Apple Watch where you can get all the information. I mean, it's a walking computer on your wrist. How are they going to regulate that? Are they going to start making everyone like check their electronics at the door? I mean, how do you? Yeah, and that's the other thing. You've got how many guys in the dugout? 25 guys plus coaches. You've got 30, 35 guys in the dugout, including trainers. You're going to go through, you're going to make sure that there's not one guy in there with a watch figuring some shit out. It's just, I find it almost impossible to legislate. And then my final point on this, if it's this easy to do in today's world with technology and there is no rule specifically prohibiting it, you mean to tell me the Astros are the only one to crack this nut?
No, but the Astros are the only team to be in the World Series in 2 of the last 3 years, and they won. And
the Red Sox won the World Series. The Dodgers have been in the World Series.
Right, but the Astros have made it twice.
The Dodgers have been there 2 of the last 3 years as well.
But they didn't think of this genius idea of cheating. Because
they
believe playing the game the right way.
Hold on. That we know of. No one's accused them yet. But I mean, how do we know?
We don't know, but we won't know until somebody like Mike Friars comes out and rats on the team that he fears. Matty Rats is what I'm gonna call. What's his first name? Mikey Rats is what I'm gonna call. He basically did what Jose Canseco did. He participated in the cheating. Okay, he didn't participate, but he was a part of that group, and he had a chance to. If he really cared that much, he would have spoken up and said, "Hey guys, this ain't right. Let's not do this."
Well, he doesn't care about the cheating. He cares about his teammates, right?
Right. He's a pitcher now. He's now the opposing pitcher to the Astros, so now he doesn't want it done to him.
Right, and to be fair,
but it was okay when the Astros
when he started putting the word out about it. He was trying to help his teammates. He wasn't trying to get the Astros in trouble. He was talking to his younger teammates in Detroit about what the Astros did. He said, "Hey, look, man, you got to be careful. This stuff happens." Now, how he got to the point where he's giving an interview to The Athletic, I don't know. But originally, I don't think he was trying to be a rat. Now, of course, he is.
I mean...
Snitches get stitches, bro.
There's really no other way to slice that pie. He told on the Astros. But, I
can't wait till he pitches at Minute Maid Park next year.
It's an unwritten rule, but you don't do that to gain an advantage against.
They've gone too far.
I mean, that's just way too much time and energy spent on setting up monitor screen. I mean, did you see some of the pictures of the clubhouse? Like, they got towels blocking monitors and what the fuck? Who goes through all this?
I mean,
now I'm interested.
As technology gets more sophisticated, the cheating has to get more sophisticated. It's no longer just trying to stand at second base and, peer into what the catcher is signaling.
Well, baseball, I would like to see Manfred and baseball come down with the hammer on this one, and right off the bat, like don't wait, just nail it.
What is the appropriate penalty here, in your opinion? Because I will argue that there is no appropriate penalty.
Right, I don't think
there's
there
no
is.
penalty big enough that you could reasonably levy that would make a difference, because they won the 2017 World Series. They got those rings. They got all of that glitz and glamour. They sold the T-shirts and the pennants and all that. They got it all. I mean, what are you going to do? What are they going to do? Punishment $5 million? Who cares?
It doesn't matter what they do. The Astros are not winning another fucking World Series in our lifetime. That's it. They're done. They're not going to win. They're cheaters. Now I see why people hate Bregman. There's a lot of people that don't like Bregman. And now on top of being this cocky motherfucker that he is, he's a cheater. He cheats. The Astros cheat. Now I get it.
God, that's
It's a bad look for baseball. It's a bad look for the Astros. I'm sorry.
It is a really bad look. And I'm gonna say this, and I know I'm gonna catch some heat for it. I don't think it's that big a deal. I think that if we're gonna sit here and we're gonna paint the entire Astros lineup as cheaters, I don't think that's fair. Like, I feel like some of those guys could give two shits about finding out whether it was a curveball or a fastball coming. You know what I mean? And look, I don't know these guys personally, right? Maybe they're all cheaters. I don't know. But I just can't believe that a lineup, and let's just take the big names, right? Springer, Altuve, Correa, Bregman, Gurriel, the new guy, Alvarez, although he's just in 2019, so we'll keep him. When you take those five big names, right? Again, Springer, Altuve, Brantley, Bregman, Gurriel, Correa. Right? Those are the big names from that World Series. Actually, Brantley wasn't there. So those are the big names. I can't believe that all five of them were gung-ho to do it. I don't know that all five of them did it. I don't know how they're going to determine it. I kind of don't want to paint them with a broad brush. Some people will do that because they dislike certain of those players, like a Bregman. But to me, Altuve is one of the nicest guys ever.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, he's going to get painted with that brush.
Well, I mean, look, they all had a chance. As they can be all nice, they all had a chance to say, "Hey, this ain't right. Let's not do this." I mean, what the fuck? Somebody's got to speak up.
Yeah, but
I mean,
aren't you being?
There's an unwritten rule that you don't have to speak up and say, "Hey, this is right, this is wrong," but nobody did it.
Aren't you being a little altruistic here? Would you do it?
Would I do what?
Would you speak up against it? So there's a meeting in the clubhouse, and let's just say
I would not speak up. But I would not participate. I would say, I don't want that. Don't bang on the trash can or whistle like I'm some kind of female walking down the street in my at-bat. Plain and simple. I don't, no. No, because there's a certain code. There's a bro code that you keep, and you don't go out like Mikey Rat's Fears, whatever, however the hell you pronounce his name, and you rat and you tell. Don't tell. You were part of that group, whether it helped you or not. You were still.
But he wasn't participating.
Oh, he participated. He's got the Astros jersey on. He was employed. He participated.
Let me ask you a question. Is your response to that different if you're Altuve as opposed to Josh Reddick, who is the 9-hole hitter and is fighting for his job every day?
No, I wouldn't cheat. I got caught cheating in the 3rd grade. I wasn't good at it. I don't want to cheat. I want to play things the right way. No, I would not cheat.
I think that's one of those things that it's so hard to...
I would not take steroids. I would not want someone banging
different.
on trash cans. No.
I think the steroids thing is different. Steroids are illegal, right? So you've got a legal issue there.
Right, yeah.
They're clearly against the rules. So that to me is, black and white almost. This one is so gray. And I'm not saying that I would cheat or that I wouldn't. I think it's very difficult for us to sit here, having never been in their situation, and say, I wouldn't do it. I think that's really hard to do.
That is difficult, but what's not difficult is they cheated. They went above and beyond to gain an advantage.
What I do know that I would not do is I would never be Mike Fears. In the sense that I would have never gone out and done an interview with The Athletic about it.
No.
I would have told my teammates at the next team, right? Especially because he had a bit of sour grapes when the Astros didn't re-sign him. But I certainly would have told them, right?
Keep going.
I would have I would have tried to bail him out or whatever.
Guys, I present to you Mikey Rats. Here
Mike
he is.
Fears.
Mikey Rats is on our podcast today. There you go, Mikey. Mikey, have a seat. Oh, sorry, we can't see you.
He's awfully small.
He is.
He's a small Mikey Rat.
That's Mikey Rats.
I don't know that I would. I don't know. It's so difficult.
Yeah, well, what makes it real difficult is it's not against the rules. It's nowhere on there, right? So but again, it's one of baseball's unwritten rules. I mean, it's just not right, man. Like, it's just not right.
Back to the punishment, because we're gonna have another segment on this show where we're gonna have to predict punishments. Give me your prediction of what kind of punishment MLB will hand out to the Astros.
Who's their owner? Crane?
Yeah.
You find McCrane. I mean, you find Crane, and you don't allow him. Him and the whole front office shouldn't be allowed in the suites for like the first 50 games of the season.
Well, you can't. I don't think you can. I can't imagine. I don't think you can effectively ban them from running the team for 50 games.
No, not running. Not allowed in the suites.
Not allow them in the stadium.
Right. Yeah. And then fine them, I don't know, $1 million, $2 million, and have them forfeit the next year of first round picks, which is just one pick, I guess, or next 2 years.
The Cardinals got in trouble for stealing scouting data
off
of the Astros, ironically. So,
what did they get?
Yeah, they got, I think it was $1 million fine or $500,000 and a couple of draft picks.
Mm-hmm.
Again, draft picks aren't quite as valuable in baseball as they are in football, but it's still, it hurts a little bit, I guess.
Yeah.
I think they should get, and I think they will get, a $5 million fine, and I think they will lose some draft picks.
No.
Let's say 2 or 3 draft picks. And I don't know. Quite frankly, to me, that's not enough of a deterrent because.
Well, you can't make it too harsh either because it's as much as I don't like that they cheated. I'm gonna call it cheating, even though it's really not cheating because it's not in the rules to not do so. You can't. I mean, you can't punish them that harshly because it's just not in the rules. It's not a law. It's not a baseball law, right?
So I don't know.
So I
Which again brings me back to my original point. There's no way to really deter a team from doing it.
But they will rewrite the rules. After this, they will.
Yeah, they'll put it in the rules.
Yeah.
But you think any? Do you think any players will take it upon themselves to exact some revenge? Like, do you think there'll be a little beanballing going on? Like, for example, the Yankees come to town, and do you think the Yankees, when they come to town next year, they throw one high and tight to somebody just because they're pissed?
No, but when the Astros go to all other 29 major league ballparks, they're gonna hear it.
Oh yeah,
they're gonna hear it, and in Philly they may throw some shit.
Batteries.
Here, fix your electronics now. Here goes some batteries.
Here's some batteries for you. I don't know. Look, we also had. Now let's flip over to something good. We also had awards week this week.
That's right.
In the MLB, it's amazing to me that the Mets picked up 2 of the 3 major awards. I'll say 4 major awards because I think Manager of the Year is a big deal as well. But they picked up 2 of the 4 major awards and they did not make the playoffs. It's kind of sad, in a way. But congratulations to Alonso. Obviously that was kind of a no-brainer.
I think all the winners deserved the award. Like, I don't think anyone you can really say. Well, maybe the American League MVP between Trout and Bregman, maybe. But now that this shit came out, no. But I think Trout. For me, Trout.
I have a little problem with Trout getting
it. For me, I mean, Trout's the best player. He put up the numbers, and that's it.
No.
Trout's not the best player in Major League Baseball?
That is not. Being the best player in baseball is not the argument.
Right.
It's who had the most valuable season. And Mike Trout missed 25 games. Right? Or 30 games, I think.
Okay. And
Bregman's numbers were just as good. Bregman played on a team that won 100 and some odd games. Mike Trout played on a team that never even sniffed the playoffs. So, yeah. And my problem with you saying he's the best player in baseball is I get sick and tired of guys winning awards because they're the best player. That's not the award. The award is what did you do this season. So if next year, if he plays 10 games, does he get the MVP? Because he's still going to be the best player in baseball.
Okay, let me ask you this. Why did Bregman have so many RBIs? Because there was people on base, right? So, I mean, he was on a way better team. See, this is the MVP. I really don't like the MVP talk because we can take a player like Mike Trout who is on, a shitty team, and he puts up these great numbers. These are great numbers. He's we haven't seen numbers like this since Mickey Mantle. And he's hands down the best player in baseball, without a doubt. Since he came into the league, 5'2" player.
But if you don't play 160 games in my book, if you play 130 games,
that's more than half the season.
Yeah, I mean, but again,
people can make the argument against Bregman being on a stacked team.
I mean, when you miss a fifth of the season, I have a hard time because now I have to project, right? What would have happened if he'd have played those 32 games that he missed or 30 games that he missed and, he just played like shit?
Yeah, I'm going to go out on a limb and say he would have probably had very similar numbers, but I get your point.
That's my problem with it. And that's why I think Bregman should have won. I think Trout got a little bit of love because he is the best player in baseball. It's the same problem I have with the college football playoff thing.
I wonder if Bregman not winning had anything to do with this story of the Astros coming out early.
No.
Somebody probably knew because it came out a couple days after, right? So I'm wondering if that had anything to do.
The story came out a couple days after they announced the MVP.
Yeah, I know.
But the voting for the MVP happens at the very end of the season. Last day of the season, all the ballots are in. So that was...
It's only a month ago.
That was a month ago. So...
That could have been that this... No, I'm just saying. I'm just putting it out there.
Look, we live in Houston. There's a lot of Houston fans that were grumbling about the MVP thing, and they thought it was because of the story. And I, for one, do not think that. I just don't believe that's the case in here. Let's see. MVP in the National League, Bellinger, got no problem with that.
He cheated too, according to Yu Darvish. Did you see that?
No.
So Yu Darvish posted a video, or someone posted a video and he got a hang of it, and he put a caption in there, I forgot what the caption was. I may have it here. Hold on a second. He basically said that Hold on. Let me pull it up real quick if I can find it. Hold on.
Which, of course, you can't.
Of course not. Hold on. Bear with me over here. I'm going to find it somewhere.
We have a show going on.
So he basically said... All right, so he basically said... The video catches Yelich looking in the batter's box, looking at Darvish, and then glances over... to the other direction, which looks like he could be looking at the second base. There's a second baseman. There's a runner on second, so it looks like he could have been staring at him. And so whatever, he put his little caption out there, and then, Yelich actually replied and said, you're better than that. There's no need for this or something like that.
No one needs to cheat.
Yeah, there you go.
There
you go. That's what he said. And so, I mean, yeah.
But again, I don't have a problem with that because that's during the scope of the game, right? There's a guy at second base.
Right. So, Bellinger won or Yelich won?
Bellinger won.
Yelich
won last year. I have no problem with that one.
Well, wait a second. Now, Bellinger played more games than Mike Trout, but Bellinger's stats declined as the year went on.
You're making my argument for me about Trout.
No. Well, why should we give it to the guy? Why should we give it to the guy whose stats went down during the year?
But he still
had... And Yelich... But Yelich had good numbers too, though.
But Yelich also missed 30 games.
He didn't miss that many.
I think he missed quite a bit. But again, but those numbers were very comparable. I wouldn't have had a problem either way with those two. I thought it was Bellinger. Slumps are not a reason to not give someone the MVP. Or a hot streak is not a reason to give him the MVP, right?
But
it's not a reason to say, oh, well, but again...
But the MVP has become a stats-driven...
Yeah, no, absolutely.
Award.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, baseball is a stats-driven game.
Yeah.
That's just the way it is. But I don't have a problem with Bellinger. I thought they're very comparable stats between him and Yelich. I'm okay with it.
Yeah.
I'm okay with all of the awards.
I am too.
I think I'd have given the AL Cy Young to Garrett Cole instead of Verlander. Alvarez was very clearly the Rookie of the Year in the American League. I would have given the award. I would have given the Astros a clean sweep because I'd have given it to Bregman over Trout. Cole over Verlander, but either one of them is an Astro, and obviously Alvarez is very clearly
Rookie of the Year.
Rookie of the Year. Who are the managers of the year?
I don't know. I don't remember. They're not important enough.
I guess there are only 3 major awards. But that wraps it up for baseball. Now we just got to see where Garrett Cole's going to land, all the free agency stuff. I wonder if it will go into February like it did last year. I kind of hope so. It's kind of interesting to...
Yeah, it might.
It's kind of interesting to sit there and just project and wonder and...
I actually don't mind.
Yeah,
you have all the winter meetings. They start in December. And then if everybody signs in December, then we have no baseball talk January, February, all the way up until March. At least, it keeps kind of baseball in the loop.
Yeah.
For me.
I agree. So should we go to the other disaster? We switch sports.
What's that?
Start with the disasters.
Sure. Yeah. Football.
Yeah, football. We're going to talk football. Let's start with the disaster that was Thursday night football. Not only were we treated to a horrible football game because that was painful to watch, and some of us actually made it through the whole thing somehow. Admittedly, I was doing other stuff. I was doing some work while I had the game kind of playing on in the background. And then I actually managed to make it to the end, which is when it got...
That's when all the fun started, man.
Far and away the most exciting part of the game. So we'll set the scene for those that don't know, for those that have been living under a rock. 21-7, the Browns are up. There's less than 30 seconds left in the game. The Steelers are not. The Steelers have the ball on their own 12-yard line. They're not kneeling it. They're not. They're trying to run plays, trying to get a few more reps for their rookie quarterback Mason Rudolph. He throws a little screen. He got sacked on first down, got sacked on second down. Now it's third and forever, right, from the 12. They do their normal pass rush. He throws a little screen pass, and Myles Garrett gets a hold of him and drives him into the ground. At which point, Mason Rudolph is not happy about it. They start jawing at each other. Myles Garrett gets up. Mason Rudolph is trying to get up, and in that process, Myles Garrett rips the helmet off of Mason Rudolph. By this point, 2 other Steelers have come over to try to break up the fracas. Mason Rudolph gets up off the ground and runs around to try to get in Myles Garrett's face to tell him, hey man, do you want to come over for dinner after the game? At which point, Myles Garrett says, no, bitch, I'm married, I'm not that kind of guy, and swings Mason Rudolph's helmet and hits him on the top of the head. More scuffle ensues, and some dude from the Browns, whose last name is Ogunjobi, that's all I know, some defensive lineman, comes up and drills Mason Rudolph in the back, knocks him to the ground, at which point Mason Rudolph from the ground says, you're a bitch, you can't come over for dinner.
Shout out to the lineman of the Steelers who tried to punch Myles Garrett in the head. And
that's another part that I kind of left out of this. One of the Pouncey brothers, I don't know which one it is.
Pouncey.
Marquise or whatever.
Yeah.
Once he saw Mason Rudolph get clobbered on the top of the head like a hammer hitting a nail, he came around, threw some punches at Myles Garrett. Myles Garrett in the scuffle falls to the floor. Pouncey throws some kicks. I don't think he ever really connects.
No. Well, he still has his helmet on, doesn't he?
But the intention was there. And so we've got a pretty ugly scene at the end of the game. Myles Garrett was ejected. Ogunjobi was ejected. Pouncey was ejected. I don't know if Mason Rudolph was ejected. I don't think he was.
I don't know.
I don't think so. I think it was just those 3. And so then, of course, the thing right after that was on Thursday. On Friday, the NFL announces some suspensions, preliminary suspensions. Myles Garrett gets the rest of the season and playoffs, which, let's face it, for the Browns, that's the rest of the season. For those of you wondering, 6 games they have left. Pouncey got 3 games. Ogunjobi got 1 game. Mason Rudolph got a fine.
He's the quarterback. Protect the quarterback at all costs.
And
he's no Big Ben.
Myles Garrett is actually suspended indefinitely.
Right.
But at least through the end of the season in the playoffs, he actually has to meet with Roger Goodell for a reinstatement, which, can there be a worse feeling than having to meet with Roger Goodell to get reinstated?
Yeah, well.
What are your thoughts? Give me your thoughts on the fight.
This all could have been avoided. Plain and simple. One person could have stopped this.
Who?
Mike Tomlin. You fucking take the knee. I mean, how much time was left? There wasn't that much time because when I looked, there was 8 seconds left on the clock.
8 at the end of the play.
Right.
The referees blew the whistle. 8 seconds left.
So if I had to guess, there was at least 47 seconds left in the game. If I had to guess. I don't know. Yeah. Or at most 47.
Right. At most.
Just take the fucking knee. For once, the Browns play their best game of the season on primetime against a rival. And this is not what we're talking about. We're talking about, swinging helmets and all that shit. It's a damn shame, I think, because the Browns played a good game. But, there's really not much to say about this. Myles Garrett is just wrong. Plain and simple. Yeah. I mean, there's nothing more to it. You can't do that, man. You can't do it. You can't. Do it. Plain and simple.
I was kind of taken aback a little bit by how quickly every single person with the Browns threw him on. They didn't mince words. Immediately went to, he is wrong. Baker Mayfield after the game was clear as day. The coach, Kitchens, was in the post-game press conference, clear as day. And Myles Garrett, to his credit, after the game in front of the media, said all the right things. He said it heat of the moment. He did something stupid. He shouldn't have done it.
And I believe him. Look, I totally...
Do you?
I do believe him because all I've heard of Myles Garrett is that he's a good person outside of those white lines. I think he had someone heckle him like 2 weeks ago.
Someone punched him a couple weeks ago.
Or punched him in his car. Okay.
Yeah, and he didn't do anything about it.
So I believe that he is a good person deep inside, outside of those white lines. Look, these guys, he plays defense for a living. This is no different than the UFC. They are supposed to hit each other, tackle each other. This is just what the game of football is, and he becomes a different person. And I'm sure there are other players in the league that just become a different person once they are... Look at Ray Lewis. Ray Lewis. I mean, they just become a different person, and I don't know if they become or they psych themselves out to be this person on the football field. I don't know. So I mean, I believe Myles Garrett, but he messed up, and he's gonna have to pay for it.
Look, I will agree with you that he's a nice guy, but he's a dirty football player. And in today's day and age where we worry about CTE and all this other stuff, you can't do the shit that he does on the football field. He buried a Jets quarterback a few weeks back. Ended that kid's season. This thing with Mason Rudolph. And you say heat of the moment? Look, it was 21-7 with 8 seconds left in the game. And they had already sacked the guy twice on the 2 previous plays. So, I don't believe it was heat of the moment. He is a dirty football player. In any line of business where you take something and you swing it and club someone over the head, that's assault, brother.
Oh, yeah.
That's assault.
No.
So, I think he should get a lengthy suspension. Lengthy suspension. I originally said that he was going to get 6 games. I now think he should get 16 games. He should get a full season. Because this is not his first transgression with dirty plays. And if you're going to take... Look, helmets are going to be out on the field on every single play. So there's 22 weapons out on the field for him at all times. Next time he may decide to take his own helmet off and start swinging it at people. You just can't have that. It's one thing to push and shove and punch and kick or whatever. Okay, I get it. But when you start swinging objects at people, come on. I don't think he's a bad guy, but I think he's a dirty player, and I think it should be a severe punishment for him.
I'm sure it will be.
And I think a year is about what I'm leaning towards right now. Pouncey. See, now, Pouncey, to me, is a heat-of-the-moment situation, right? A, he's not a dirty player. B, he just saw his quarterback get clubbed over the head. I get it. His reaction is wrong. He should be suspended. But that's a heat-of-the-moment reaction. Mm-hmm. I think 3 games. I personally would have given him 2. I don't have a problem with 3 games. What do you think?
On Pouncey?
Mm-hmm. Are you good with 3? Should he have gotten more? Should he have gotten less? He was trying to protect his quarterback.
1? I mean, I don't. 3 seems a bit too much to me.
Ogunjobi.
Is he the guy that pushed Rudolph?
Yeah. He got 1, which I'm okay with. It was a late hit.
I'll tell you what. They play one more time.
I can't wait to see that. Because that was a chippy game beforehand.
He should get a cheap shot in to end that game somewhere. Absolutely.
I would guess he will. You know what they're not talking about, which I find very interesting, and I'm very curious what the NFL is going to do. There are very clearly in the video 2 guys that come off the bench and get in the fight from the Browns. Number 99.
It's football. It's not bench. It's sideline.
It's sideline. Whatever. They weren't playing, so they were benched. Number 99 and number 92 come running onto the field. And I don't think the NFL has a you can't come on the field during a fracas type of rule like the NBA does, where it's an automatic suspension. But I'll be curious if those guys get suspended.
Well,
because by the way, they didn't come in to break it up.
Right.
They came in and they were in the middle of the pushing and shoving, and I didn't see him swing anything. But
Yeah. Well, it could be one of those things where it's not in the rule book, so you can't really discipline them for it. Now, if they swung and pushed, maybe, right?
You think they're going to get suspended?
Nah, because
no one's really talking about it.
No one really cares about them.
No?
So, could be.
Could be. So that was ugly.
Yeah, that was a crazy
it's a real ending. Black eye for the sport. It's just not cool.
Yeah.
Not cool at all. Moving on to Sunday's action. Speaking of ugly action, the Texans offense.
Oh, Houston's not having a good look on this podcast.
Look.
Where was it? I
say this every week. Let's see what their record is this week. Hold on, so I can say it accurately. The Texans are the best 6-4 team, and the Texans are the worst 6-4 team. And yesterday we saw the worst 6-4 team in the NFL. It's amazing to me. They're a good football team, and it's amazing to me that they put on performances like this. Look, let's do a little exercise. Just one word. Good or not good, right?
Okay.
Patriots.
Good.
Bills.
Good.
Dolphins and Jets.
Not good.
Ravens.
Good.
Steelers.
Not good.
Browns.
Not good.
Bengals.
Not good.
Colts.
Good.
Texans.
Not good.
We'll go back to them. Titans.
Did I mess up your...
Titans.
Damn, they're on the fence for me, man. I'm gonna say good. I'm gonna say good.
Jaguars.
Not good.
Chiefs.
Good.
Raiders.
Good.
Chargers.
Not good.
Broncos.
Not good.
So you have 6 teams. I didn't count the Titans because it's complete bullshit. They're 5-5, and the Texans are 6-4. So shut your face. They're not good.
Yeah. Everyone clowned me when I said the Raiders are gonna make a push here at the end, and they're making a push.
Yeah. Well,
everybody clowned me about the Bills.
So hold on. So you got 6 teams.
Mm-hmm.
The Texans are as good as any of those teams.
They're not that good, bro. That's not a good team. Deshaun Watson is a very good quarterback. DeAndre Hopkins is a very good wide receiver. The rest of that team is not very good. No offensive line, no J.J. Watt, no defensive line. Coaching is not good. That is not a very good team.
That's a good football team.
The way they're playing, it shows that they're not a good football team.
But you get performances like you got yesterday.
Yeah.
They are the
it's
best 6-4 team and the worst 6-4 team. It's amazing to me. How they have games where they come out and they play great, and they have games where they come out and they play like horse shit.
I wonder if I had them in the playoffs.
They beat the Chargers in L.A. They beat the Chiefs in Kansas City.
Yeah.
They beat the Colts. Oh no, they lost to the Colts. And then yesterday, right? So I mean, they have performances where you're like, damn, this is a good football team, and then they have performances like yesterday where you're like, damn, this is a terrible football team.
Did I even have him in the playoffs?
Probably.
I don't think I did. I did not.
No, you did not?
No, I did not.
Oh, because you're a hater.
No, I mean, they're not a good football team. It's what my eyes see. But no, I mean...
It's amazing.
Yeah, I mean, they're going to have a tough road. Now they got to play on a short week against the Colts on Thursday night. That's not going to be easy. That's not going to be easy for them. So, and the Titans are 5-5. I mean...
They're right there.
They're in the hunt, but... Can they make the playoffs? Probably. They're probably... Yes, they can, but will they? Probably not. But
you realize the Texans are in the second wild card spot.
Okay, that's fine.
I mean, it's crazy.
Yeah.
And you look around, right? So you've got the Patriots, Ravens, Colts, and Chiefs leading their divisions. And because of a tiebreaker, the Colts are ahead of the Texans.
Right.
Then the Bills at 7-3, the Texans at 6-4, Raiders 6-4, Steelers 5-5, Titans 5-5. So 2 of those 4 teams, I'm not going to count the Titans. Well, I'll throw the Titans in there as well. 2 of those 5 teams will make the playoffs. Now, obviously, you don't think the Steelers are going to make it. I kind of don't either. the performance against Cleveland was awful, and Mason Rudolph has a lot of growing up to do. So I just don't think it's going to happen for him. They're going to run out of time. The Bills, I think, are going to make it. Mm-hmm. And so it really comes down to the Texans, the Raiders, and the Titans at 5-5.
Damn.
At this point, I think the Texans are better than the Raiders and the Titans, but I can't trust them. Look at what we see week to week. It's infuriating.
And the Raiders are improving. I think the Raiders are playing better.
The Raiders are improving. And the other thing that gives me great pause with the Texans, the coaching's just not. Bill O'Brien's not the guy.
No, he's not. He hasn't.
They've got to make the playoffs, or he's out of a job.
You think he's out of a job if they don't make it?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, because they think they're a good football team.
Well, I don't know. I guess it depends on the general manager if he thinks the same.
If he thinks they're a good football team?
Yeah.
I think the Texans, I think everyone in the building thinks they're a good football team. And that's a problem.
Yeah, because they're not.
Well, no, if you don't make the playoffs, then who takes the beating there? It's the coach.
Oh yeah, it's the coach. Yeah. But I mean, you gotta protect Deshaun Watson a little bit, man. I mean, that offensive line doesn't. He popped up on the injury report this morning, so I mean, you gotta protect them, man.
Can't afford to have that guy hurt. The other really good 6-4 team, who is also a really bad 6-4 team, the Dallas Cowboys.
Now, I think they're better than the Texans.
I think they're a little bit better than the Texans.
Yeah, they're a little better.
But again, what are they doing? I mean, they couldn't. They almost blew that game yesterday with the Lions.
Yeah.
And the Lions are not a good football team. Not without Stafford. They're just not.
Heck, even with Stafford, they're not.
Yeah, they're struggling. But the Cowboys couldn't convert at the end with Minnesota. They had a chance to win that game and blew it. Minnesota's a good team, though, so it's not that bad of a loss. But it's just, what is going on there? Who knows, right? It's a mess.
Well, I'll tell you what's going on. Dak Prescott, man. Dak Prescott. He's a good fucking quarterback. And they're doing this without Zeke running the ball effectively.
Yeah.
So, I mean, and as much as I dislike the Cowboys, they got some weapons on offense.
Yesterday's offense was all Dak Prescott.
Yeah, but I mean, he's got playmakers though that can take it to the house. He's got Cobb, he's got Cooper.
Yeah.
So I mean, he's got he's got
and
some
Elliott
weapons.
out of the backfield.
And Elliott, yeah.
Elliott's good.
And a heck of an offensive line.
Yeah.
So
ironically, they have not been running the ball well lately.
So now, if you take Jason Garrett and you put him on the Texans, and you take Billy O.B. and you put him on the Cowboys,
same thing.
Same thing. So that's why these two coaches are not good.
I think Garrett is part of the problem, but I will say this: I think Garrett is less of a problem than Bill O'Brien. Bill O'Brien seems completely clueless to me as to a game plan.
Right.
Jason Garrett at least has some idea, and maybe he makes some bonehead calls here and there, stuff that maybe we wouldn't do, but, isn't crazy. But Bill O'Brien is just... Bill O'Brien seems to walk out on the field every week going, all right, guys, what are we going to do here? You know what I mean? Whereas Jason Garrett at least has a plan.
Right.
Executes. Sometimes he deviates and messes it up, but he's working on it.
Yeah, I agree with that.
I think both of those teams, though, would benefit greatly from a good coach.
Man, the Cowboys played 3 straight primetime games. They went 2-1 in those games. That's pretty impressive. 3 straight primetime games. The Vikings had a great game yesterday. Well, great second half. They were down 20-0 in the first half.
Who did they play yesterday?
They played the Broncos at home.
Oh, God.
And for all the talk that Kirk Cousins can't play in a primetime game. He won last week against the Cowboys. Mm-hmm. And he can't play big games and all that. I mean, he's been lights out. He's been actually playing, living up to his contract.
Yeah, he's a good quarterback.
For now.
Well, yeah.
For now he is. He's playing very well.
Time will tap everyone on the shoulder eventually.
But so, that's a game they should win anyway. Denver's not that good.
Denver's terrible. But
And they had 2 bad calls. Well, 2 bad non-calls. Clearly pass interference again. They just need to go away with
when are the coaches going to stop challenging?
Exactly.
Did you see the one in the Texans game?
Yeah.
I mean, to me that was clear as day. That was the most clear.
You lose a timeout, right?
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. So why
coaches are giving timeouts away because they are not going to reverse a PI call. They're just not going to do it.
Who else played? 49ers beat the Cardinals. Kyler Murray's
decent.
He's decent. He's having a good season for a rookie, I'd say.
I agree.
And the Cardinals overall not looking that. I mean, well, they're staying in games. I think they got 4 wins on the season.
3-7-1, 3.5 wins.
Yeah. So.
And the Falcons apparently are trying to save Quinn's job.
Yeah.
Because they beat the brakes off the Panthers yesterday.
2-0 after the bye week. It's amazing. They beat the Saints last week, right?
Yeah.
Damn.
Quinn is coaching for his life. And the Bears still can't move the ball.
I thought
neither can the Rams, for that matter.
I thought the Bears were going to win that game last night. I thought they were going to win. But damn, Trubisky.
Matt Nagy has completely screwed up the Mitch Trubisky experiment. He's completely screwed it up.
Well, I think a lot has to do with this guy being the favorite to win the MVP. It's just like propping up the Browns to make the playoffs and win the Super Bowl. Like, where did this come from?
Crazy talk.
Yeah.
Crazy talk. He had a couple good games last year, and all of a sudden they think he's going to be it.
I don't understand.
I put this on Nagy because he took him out in the fourth quarter of a game that was still winnable.
Right. You're within 1 score, right?
No, it's still two scores, but still, you score onside kick. I mean, you 2 scores in 4 minutes or 5 minutes, whatever was left in the game, is not unheard of.
Right.
It's tough for sure.
For the Bears, it's definitely tough.
Well, for the Bears, it's impossible apparently. But he took him out, and he said it was a hip issue. So here's my problem. If that's true, then you played that guy with a bum hip all game long, which was not smart.
Who knows how much longer, right? It could have been since last week.
Right. He's been dinged up for a while with this hip thing. You played him all game long with a hip, and then you took him out. So you're wrong for playing him. And if it's not true, what do you gain by bringing in the backup with 4 minutes left in the game?
Right. Yeah.
Right? Obviously, you have no faith now in Trubisky. What are you going to do when he gets healthy? Are you going to go back to him? What are we doing here? What are we doing?
Well, I recommend...
in my opinion, that should have been Chase Daniel's game from the get-go.
Well, I recommend Trubisky to take some classes from Dak Prescott if he's got hip issues and practice that little, salsa dancing.
Yeah, was that not the best meme you saw all week?
Yeah, that was pretty good. I like that Zeke.
Zeke played with it afterward. It was hilarious.
But that wasn't better than the keg stand from Quentin Nelson, the offensive lineman of the Colts.
I didn't see that.
Yeah, they did a keg stand. That was pretty good. You should go back and watch that. That was pretty good.
Oh my God, these guys! I'm glad they're letting them have some fun.
Is Lamar Jackson the MVP? I mean, I know I was talking.
No.
I know I was talking a lot about McCaffrey last week, but
no.
Who is?
Russell Wilson is the MVP to me.
Man, I don't know, bro. What Lamar is doing is.
If I have to vote today, I'm gonna vote Russell Wilson.
Do you know that Lamar has beaten Russell Wilson and Tom Brady and now Deshaun Watson? That's pretty fucking impressive, bro.
Yeah.
No,
look.
You give it to Lamar.
No, look. I'm not saying it's an easy vote, but I think Russell Wilson is the MVP.
But Lamar won the head-to-head.
It's one game. They're both 8-2.
No, I understand, but he won the head-to-head.
And the Seahawks are
that
playing,
should be the tiebreaker.
The Seahawks, to me, are playing a tougher schedule this season than the Ravens.
Lamar beat the Patriots, bro. It doesn't get any more tougher than that.
Wait,
the best defense ever.
How long do you think Myles Garrett would have gotten suspended if he'd have bopped Tom Brady or Drew Brees on the top of the head like that? Or Aaron Rodgers?
Fuck, bro. We would have had that fucking FBI's fly in, and I mean... Yeah, He would have been in front of Judge Judy and the verdict.
I'm guessing it's a lifetime ban, right?
Yeah.
He probably gets exiled from the country.
Yeah.
I'm guessing our president would step in and send him away. He'd have to flee to Canada or something.
If Mason Rudolph hears this, he's gonna be like, "Man, I ain't shit. He's only gonna get a few games."
Well, I mean, I think admittedly he would say that. If Mason Rudolph becomes Tom Brady, then maybe the NFL will come back and suspend Myles Garrett further. 15 years from now,
when he's like 50 years old.
15 years from now, they're gonna be like, that Mason Rudolph guy, he's the face of the league, and you know how much we love quarterbacks. You're suspended again. I don't play anymore, Roger.
Roger can suspend you.
Roger is the long arm of the law.
Does Colin Kaepernick play in the NFL again?
Absolutely not.
No, I don't think so either.
And here's my problem there. That workout this weekend was PR and bullshit from both sides. Because the NFL is trying to make it seem like they're giving him every opportunity, and he wants the opportunity so that then no one signs him so that he can be a martyr. He doesn't want to play football. He wants to be a martyr. And I know that a lot of people, I'm not the first person to say that, but the bullshit that went on with moving it, not wanting to sign the waiver and all this other shit, the NFL did it on a Saturday when everyone's fucking worried about their game the next day. You can't get all the personnel there. He didn't even know who he was going to throw to until right before the thing happened. Right. And who's got the rights to the film? I mean, come on. Look, Colin Kaepernick, from a skills perspective, is absolutely one of the best 64 quarterbacks on the planet. He should be a backup somewhere. Absolutely. 100%. But there's not a coach in the NFL that wants his backup quarterback doing press conferences every week. Football is, of all the sports, football is the one that hates the distractions more than any other sport. And there's not one of those 32 NFL coaches that wants his backup quarterback doing press conferences every week. There's not one of those 32 NFL coaches that thinks he is good enough to take them to the Super Bowl today. And if you can't do that, I'm sorry, there's no job for you here. It's just that simple. If it was Tom Brady, it'd be different. If it was Aaron Rodgers, it'd be different. But the fact of the matter is, it's not. And he's not going to get a job. It's just that simple. It's the same reason Tim Tebow couldn't get a job. Tim Tebow, when he stepped away from the game and decided to go play baseball, Tim Tebow was one of the best 64 quarterbacks on the planet. He deserved to be the backup somewhere. But no NFL coach wants his backup quarterback doing press conferences every week and bringing that distraction into the clubhouse. It's just that simple.
Yeah, I agree with the distraction. Kaepernick could probably be a starting quarterback for about 5 to 7 teams in the league. I mean, there's some quarterbacks that don't, but he's not taking them to the promised land. I don't know that. He looks like he's in. No, hold on. If we're talking just football. Just football, there's about 5 or 7 teams that he can absolutely be starting quarterback for. Because these are not. I mean, if we go through the quarterbacks, we'll find that there are some ranked all the way at the bottom 5 that are just that he's better than. Right. I mean, yeah, he may not take him to the Super Bowl, but they would be better off with Colin. Kaepernick was a good quarterback. Okay. This whole thing, though, is a shit show on both parties.
Yeah, I agree with you.
Plain and simple. My 3 words to describe all this is trust, compromise, and, 2 words, I guess. Trust and they don't trust each other, and they won't compromise with each other. I understand.
When you said 2 words, I thought you were going to say... When you said 3 words, I thought it was 2 words, shit show.
Well, nah. So, I understand Colin Kaepernick's whole ordeal. I do believe he wants to play football because I do believe that he has to earn a living. He's got to earn a living somehow. He wants to play football, but he wants to play it on his terms. And the NFL wants to let him play football, but they want to let him play football on their terms. And so, they can't meet in the middle. Plain and simple, I mean, who the fuck says that you can't play football and talk about social injustice at the same time? You know who says you can't? The NFL. Why? At your job, at people's job, at everywhere. At people's job, you talk about work, and you got people that talk about politics. Nobody says anything about that. I mean, what's the big deal about him wanting to do something that is not wrong? It's not wrong. It's trying to bring something to light. I mean, hey, if we're talking positive here, he's trying to do something positive. At the same time, hey, Colin Kaepernick is just like me. He wants to earn a buck. And there's nothing wrong with that. Play football and do what you got to do. But the NFL doesn't allow that. And, they just won't meet in the middle.
I just want to make one distinction. The NFL is allowing him to play football.
On their terms.
Hold on. The NFL allows him to play football. The problem is the 32 organizations do not want his distraction. And that's where the disconnect lies. The NFL doesn't give a shit. The NFL doesn't care.
Listen, if teams are going to sign Le'Veon Bell and Antonio Brown and all these fucking divas in the NFL, come on, man. You don't want a quarterback that's going to help you win games? Come on.
It's the same exact thing that happened with Tebow. It's the same exact thing.
You can't compare both. One can play football, the other one cannot. Tim Tebow was not a good quarterback. He's not a good baseball player. He was a good college football player. Tim Tebow has no business being in the NFL.
Tim Tebow took a team to the playoffs and won a playoff game.
Colin Kaepernick did too.
I know. So I'm saying Tim Tebow was.
But he's not in the NFL no more.
Tim Tebow was good enough to be someone's backup.
But he's not in the NFL anymore.
No, I know. But when he walked away from the NFL, he was good enough to be a backup. But no one wanted him because no one wanted that distraction. It's just the way NFL teams work. It's just, do I think Tim Tebow's as good as Colin Kaepernick? No. But I do think he was good enough to be someone's backup. Because I saw him play on the field, and I saw him win football games, and I saw him take a team, win a playoff game. I saw that. Just like I saw Colin Kaepernick take a team to the Super Bowl. So I know both of those guys can play. Both of those guys, Tim Tebow 2 or 3 years ago, whenever it is he walked away, was good enough to be someone's backup. Colin Kaepernick today, or at least 2 years ago when he walked away, whatever, is good enough to be someone's backup. But no NFL coach and GM is going to want the distraction that comes with a backup quarterback doing press conferences every week about whether he's going to kneel for the national anthem or not. Is he going to stay in the locker room or come out? What does he want to start? No coach wants that. No, every single coach in the league hates the backup quarterback dilemma. Every single coach hates it. Matt Nagy hates it. Right now, he hates it.
I don't believe Kaepernick would sign a contract to be a backup. He would have to start. He wouldn't be a backup.
I don't know what his true aspirations are at this point. I don't know that football is what he wants to do.
I agree.
I think he wants to.
He wants both things.
I disagree. I think he wants to be an activist, and he wants the platform that the NFL will give him as a quarterback. He wants the clicks and the likes and the eyes that will give him. The lights that the NFL will provide for him to continue his work as an activist.
Right, and he had that. That's his platform. He's a professional football player.
Right.
I mean, he can't go at Men's Warehouse
as a platform. My point is, I don't think he loves playing football and wants to play football. You know what I mean? I think he views football as a means to an end. He views football as the way to shine light on what he's talking about. not because he really wants to play football. If he could have if he could have the same social impact flipping burgers at McDonald's, he'd be freaking serving up Happy Meals like a motherfucker.
I mean, I can't say I blame him for wanting to use the platform.
No, I don't blame him either. Don't get me wrong. I'm not criticizing the man. That's just my take on him, right? For better or worse. But yeah, I don't think anyone's going to sign him.
No,
and it's unfortunate because there will be another Colin Kaepernick. And
will there be?
Yes, there will be.
The NFL won't allow it.
I think there will be, and then we'll have to go through this all over again. Whereas if we didn't go through this bullshit with Kaepernick, if we got him back in the league and he became a player again, then this social activism thing wouldn't be an issue, right? And we can go on. It's the same thing like the first gay player, right? Once you have one, well, then you can have others, and it's not an issue, and we can just move on with our lives, and we can just focus on the game of football as opposed to focusing on this guy's sexual orientation, or in this case, Colin Kaepernick focusing on his social activism.
No.
If you have one, then you can have others, and it doesn't become an issue anymore.
But I think it's different with the NFL, man. The NFL is a perfect example of someone abusing their power. That's what they've done. That's what Roger Goodell has done this whole time. They're abusing their power.
So, hold on a second. Let me ask you a question here, because I'm a little confused by your comments. I'm a little confused by your tactics. So, do you think the NFL, the league office, is keeping him out of football? You think they are sending some sort of directive to the owners to stay away from this guy?
Yeah, I partially believe that.
Oh, wow. I don't believe that.
Yeah.
I think the NFL doesn't care. I think the NFL, the league, I think the league doesn't give a shit. I think the individual owners...
I mean, it's been out there that there's collusion going on, like 2 years ago.
From the owners.
Right, but I think that directive is...
Because the league is not... The league... I am making a very clear distinction between the league and the owners.
Yeah.
And obviously there's some commingling there because the league, the head guy at the league, is hired by the owners.
If the owners don't abide by what the owners says...
Well, that's the thing, right? So I'm treating them very separately, and I believe that in this case it is a very separate issue. The league doesn't have a problem with Colin Kaepernick. He's not suspended. Anyone can sign him. No big deal. I think the owners have collectively made a choice to stay away from this head case. Oh, no, I'm sorry. I shouldn't say that. Not head case. From this situation, right? Because they don't want the distraction and because maybe they disagree with his social activism on the football field. But I don't think the league is giving them any directive. The collusion that you're referring to is, I think, confined to the owners. And again, I understand there's some commingling there because the owners hire the commissioner, right? So they approve his salary. So obviously they have a lot of influence. But the league, I don't think the league has done anything here to say, stay away from this guy. That's just my gut feeling.
Could be, man.
It's a crazy situation.
It is.
I kind of hope he does get signed, just because I want to see what happens. People are going to lose their shit.
Man, I hope he gets signed and he kneels, does whatever he's got to do, and then just walks away. That's it. One game. Fuck him. Yeah, fuck the NFL, man.
That would be something else.
Why not?
That would be something else if
he's not going to get signed. I mean, that contract is going to have the wording in that contract. I would imagine would be so detailed. You know, like I mean, there would be certain stuff that he just can't do, can't say, and there's no way he's going to sign that. No way.
I don't think that. See, now this is where I think the NFL should, would, and could step in. They will certainly review that contract. They can't allow any of that.
Right.
They can't say they can't allow any of that. He has to live by the same rules as every other player that they have on their roster. stay in the locker room or come out. I mean, I don't know what the rule is with the whole kneel down thing, but
there you go. See, abusing power, right? You want to kneel? Stay your ass in the locker room. Whose rule is that? The teams or the leagues?
I think the NFL has encouraged players to stay in the locker room. I don't think it's an actual rule, however.
Sounds to me like the NFL told the teams, "Hey, put this on your memo."
Right, but there's no teeth to it.
Right.
There's no. It's not a rule. It's a suggestion.
Yeah.
So, anyway, all right. What do you say we wrap this thing up? Because we have talked a ton. Unfortunately, not all good today.
No,
we talked about cheating.
It's what happens in sports, man.
We talked about cheating. We talked about fighting, and we talked about a guy who's really having a hard time getting a job.
That's not bad.
Well, the reason he can't get a job, right?
What is the reason he can't get a job?
He's not a good enough football player to overcome the distractions of his social activism.
All right.
Alrighty, folks. We'd love to hear your thoughts. If you would like to reach out to the show, you can email the show, positivesports10@gmail.com, positivesports10@gmail.com. If they want to get a hold of you and ask you to explain your shit show comments, how do they do that?
At Brooklyn Gaucho on Twitter.
At Brooklyn Gaucho 1?
1, yes, 1. Brooklyn Gaucho 1.
And if you want to get a hold of me on Twitter, you can do so at eMontana21. With that, we've come to the end of another wonderful episode of the Positive Sports Podcast, episode 102. Is that right?
102, yep.
Wow, 102 episodes in the books. As always, folks, ignore the negativity. Be the positivity.
Peace.